He's been a long haul Bomberman champion, a perennial All-Pro. If you've seen him on our show, he's the comic relief. He's quite a salesman, a great guy. Considered the best ball striker in the business, a home run hitter extraordinaire. Bob O'Brien. Bob recently came off taking second in Mike Masenko's National Home Run Derby with seniors. He's a hell of a hitter. You'll see, a great teacher. He's been a coach for many years, and he was on a member of the Miami Hurricanes National Championship baseball team. Something he didn't mention the other day. He's too modest. And Mike Dill's been a conference player all the way up. What are you, Dilly? 652?
I just turned 53.
Just turned 53. He's an old man now at 53. But no, he's been a great conference player. He bats first or third for his team. He's one of the greatest hitters for position all the way around. I don't know if you guys were here at spring training a couple of years ago, senior camp, where he hit 14 out of 15 in the home run exhibition, so he can really turn it out too. These guys haven't warmed up or anything, but we're going to start out with Halsey hitting and ask him any questions, anything you guys want to throw out. These guys are great teachers, and look forward to a good exhibition here.
Are we talking about what y'all was doing here off the tee or anything?
Why don't you hit and talk?
Talk about you, yeah. What you're doing, what you do.
Talk to whatever you want.
Just like these guys here was talking, guys. You know, I've probably got a different approach than a lot of people, because they say, well, Halsey, what's your approach when you get in the box? I was told many moons ago by a gentleman by the name of Todd Gerlin, go hard. You know, go hard. And that's the way I've always kept my mentality, is I go hard. Now, as I've got older, now I've hit that 50 plateau, you know. I mean, I'll take some swings and go easy until we get into the game situation, and then, but again, my mentality is go hard, you know, attack the ball. So, and a lot of it says, well, what are you doing with your hands? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? Now, I've made it simple. I've made it easy. You know, it's old school. You know, baseball's here. I line my knuckles up, and all this is a little guide hand here, and I'm snapping. Like Bogey said earlier, I try to snap my wrist through every swing that I can get. If you watch video, I try to snap them. I'm trying to push off. Again, I wear shorts and probably shouldn't wear shorts because my leg's so skinny and little, but I drive off this back leg. I'm pushing as hard as I can. I told some of you yesterday, if I'm hitting on if it ain't turf, if it's a dirt batter's box that we're hitting off of, you'll see a mark. You'll see a little line, whether it's 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, where I'm pushing and making my mark. You know, a lot of people say, well, you need to hit, swing, torque. That's all baseball stuff. You know, this is softball, so you want to try to get everything into it. You know, they used to teach us in baseball, and Bobby could probably attest to that. You know, you didn't see all the cocking and stuff now. If you're a power hitter in the pros, you got a cock, and you see them all cocking now, the big power hitters. It ain't no difference in softball. If you want to hit it, get everything into it. So that's the only thing I would tell anybody, just like I spoke yesterday to some of you and worked with some of you off the tees yesterday. Get everything into it, guys. That's all I can tell you. Go hard. Make sure this hand, make sure your knuckles, because like I said, on impact, you want them hands where you can get more wrist into it to snap them. That'll make a big difference as well. And I know I worked with my man here yesterday a little bit off the tee. So again, just take it and each guy is going to teach you different things, but I will leave you with, make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're comfortable in the box, because it's going to be, each guy is going to be totally different. I can tell you to do one thing, him to do one thing, her to do one thing, everybody to do one thing, but again, it's each for his own as far as feeling comfortable.
So Jeff, let me ask you, when you're going from your lag to your snap, do you consciously think about snapping early?
No.
Tell me about this lag to the snap.
I'm going to be honest with you. People's asking, I don't think about shit when I'm in the box. I ain't going to lie to you. When I think, that's when I make an out. So I quit thinking. The only time I'll ever think is if, you know, we playing these guys right here and they pull everybody over. Adidas done it. They pulled everybody over on one side and they said, yeah, we want you to hit it out. You know, go ahead. But we're going to have everybody over here. So I would think a little bit and say, you know what? I'm going to steal that down right side there. And you know, and people say, well, keep your same stance, whatever. That's fine. you know, that's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with. I'm more comfortable if that's the case and the pitcher's here, everybody's pulled off one side. I'm just comfortable just snapping it and just throwing it right through the infield.
So you're not conscious of when you snap it?
No, I'm never conscious of when I snap it.
Okay.
And you know,
big difference in when you take a step like that and there's nothing. I do it the same thing. As people start shifting over and you got that big hole. What the big advantage is when you take that step is you can hit any pitch.
That's right.
Any
That's
pitch
right.
over there.
That's right. And you know, and again, you got a mat. So you know if it's got to be a strike, of course. But you know, but again, like you said, it could hit short, it could hit wherever. But if there's nobody there, just drive it through there. I mean, I've made the damn mistake trying to poke it through there instead of driving it because you don't want to lift the ball and hit it to the right fielder. That makes you look stupid if there's nobody there at second.
Bruce, you're talking about the three of the greatest hitters in senior softball and the young guys ball. And anyhow, so for them, it's muscle memory. You know, it doesn't mean that we don't have to work on it as athletes, but you know, it becomes a matter where you guys are watching the ball more because they've worked on the mechanics so well, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I quit thinking in the box. It don't do me no good to ever get into a batter's box and think. I only thing I know in a batter's box is just go hard.
Halsey, talk about separating the snap from the roll, the actual snap from the roll over afterwards. Talk about that and how it relates to your swing.
Well, I mean, it's something again that just comes natural. But you got, to me, if you're going to be a power hitter, you can be a good base hitter. I mean, Bob O'Brien. I mean, I ain't just saying it because he's here, but he's probably the best base hitter that I've seen. I mean, that's just being honest. He can spray the ball here, right center, left center, right center, left. Drives me crazy. I'm like, can we ever get this sumbitch out? You know? And finally, I think he might have made 2 outs in 2 years against us. I don't know. But it tells you, you know, that's a different kind of hitter. Me, I'm just in there, just plugging along, just, you know, snapping. I'll get rollover on my ball because I'm trying to hit it hard. I mean, I can control it when I'm going to left field. You know, I cut the ball down through the infield, but I'm not letting off my swing. I'm just taking a different approach. I'm trying to cut the ball instead of just trying to drive through the ball. And to me, there's a difference. But again, guys, I told you yesterday. What did I tell you yesterday? First thing you got to do is what?
Watch the ball.
Watch the ball. You can't hit a ball whether you're hitting it off a tee, whether you're hitting a golf ball, whether you're hitting it coming in there 15, 16 feet, whether it's coming in there 6 feet. You got to watch it. That's where people get. I see a lot of swings and people's heads are over here and eyes are everywhere else. Unless you watch the ball off the bat, that's education 101. Watch it off the bat, guys. That's the biggest thing. Watch it, come off your bat, and then boom. Good things will happen if you just watch that ball off of contact.
And what's your favorite point of contact?
All of them. I mean,
In the center of you, out in front of you.
Where do you want to?
Where do you want to hit that ball?
I personally like a short pitch. That's just me personally. I mean, that's, you know, each for his own. You know, senior ball, you're going to have to hit a lot of balls coming out of a ceiling. So, I mean, you got to get that. That was an adjustment for me to hit a ball here because it's hard for me to know where I'm going to control and hit that ball at. If I've got a ball coming in here, I can pretty much know that, okay, if I need to hit the middle, I can hit that middle, whatever. But, I mean, to me, I've always liked a shorter pitch where I can go down and get it. That's just me personally. Again, you know, each for his own. But that's just me.
What's a shorter pitch for you? Belt high?
If I can reach it. If I can reach it. Yeah. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I've made some stupid outs going after a short pitch, but I've also hit some of my longest home runs going after a short pitch. So
the one thing about it, I'm sure that Jeff will say, he's practiced that.
Yes.
He didn't just go up there and say, I'm going to hit a short pitch today. He practices that.
Leave them with one tip. They want to hit a ball. These guys, a lot of them aren't going to be bombers, these ladies and men, but they start creeping a minute 2:10. What's your best tip for them to hit it over the outfielders head to get them backed up again so they can open up the base hit lanes.
I still think you got to get the leg drive, Bogey. I mean, that's just me personally. I think it all generates. You can have the best. I've been gifted with quick hands, and that's something I've had my whole career is quick hands. I mean, if you guys ever watched me in conference or anything, if this is the plate, I stood an inch off the plate. So this is where I stood. And a gentleman by the name of Dirk Androff, some of you guys might have heard that name back in the day. My first year with Steels, I stood off the plate, and I was just boom, 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 base hitter, base hitter, base hitter. And he come to me after game after game after game, and he's like, Halsey, I like the way you play the game. You know, try to get on the plate as quick as your hands are. Trust your hands. Again, senior ball, you will not see me creep up on the plate. I can't do it because of the height of the ball, the mat, and everything else. So that's made a big difference. But something I haven't changed over the years is the way I approach the game and the way that I drive off of my back leg. And again, I'll make some stupid swings just like everybody else, going after some stupid pitches. But overall, my biggest asset has been, Bogey, has been the driving and consistency off of my back leg.
Now define quick hands. What does that mean to you?
Well, quick hands, and again, I preach to you guys, some of the that I talked to yesterday, some people think they're too good to hit off tees. When I started, every batting practice, I had a tee with me. And I would take 10, 12, 15 swings off the tee. Why do you do that? I want my hands quicker. I want my eye on the ball. I'd video myself. I'd go out there and video myself off of a tee. You asked me about video earlier. Yeah. I'd video myself hitting off a tee. What's the big deal? Well, I wanted to try to be consistent, you know, and see what I was doing wrong, what I wasn't doing right. I mean, you can critique yourself by looking at it. Nobody's out there. So you're not embarrassing nobody. If you're doing something bad, fix it, you know. So my son, he's a great ball player. He's got phenomenal hands, but he got them from hitting off a tee. And to this day, in our backyard, I mean, that's the first thing you see when you pull up in the driveway is a net and a tee in the backyard. We do it. He'll wire that one out, we'll replace it. So I think that the more tee work you can get in, some people might not agree with that. I've just always liked tee work. Now there's something going around, oh, tee work don't help you, tee work don't help you. And I've heard all kinds of stories, you know, but we still like tee work. I mean, because the baseball players, I know our high school does it. Do y'all still teach tee work?
Let me tell you something about tee work. We were talking about it yesterday. The tee is one of the coolest thing about a tee is you don't need a partner to practice with.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you can get swings in and get your repetitions in with a tee without a partner. The second thing that's great about the tee is you can control the variables. You can work on high pitches.
Yep.
You can work on low pitches. Yep. You can work on inside pitches and outside pitches. You just set the tee and adjust yourself to that pitch. Get out there during BP and ask your buddy to throw, all right, pitch me inside. Well, maybe 4 out of 10 are inside for you. But the tee is so good because you can control the variables. You can get quality repetitions, and you don't have to have somebody hitting with it. All you need is a net, and balls, and some tee, and a tee, right?
100%, guys, 100%. And he hit it because I would always make adjustments on the tee as well.
That's
even
why
with my.
You don't have to think because you do so many reps.
Well, I don't no more. I mean, this is the first time I've hit yesterday since Vegas. I mean, I just, you know, my time is got, you know, more and more. I mean, I'm busy. I'll just put it that way. So I enjoy the game. I love the game. I love to play the game. But if you're looking to get quicker hands, more distance, that's just a few things. You got to have your hand. But the main thing is watch the ball. Take a tee out there, video your swing, adjust it, like Bobby said, adjust it, and see where your eyes are at. And I'm telling you, those little things like that right there is going to make you a better hitter. So, Bogey, that's all I got. I'll let Dill.
Thank you.
And again, Bob, these guys are trying to get the distance to hit over the creeper's head, so lay it out for us.
All right. Tough act to follow. You know, Yogi Berra once said, you can't think and hit at the same time. Anybody ever heard that?
Yeah.
And the analogy there is, I have an expression, you practice with your head, you play with your heart. So when you're at practice, when you're at camps, yes, you want to think about what you're doing. All right, you want to think about when you're going to snap it through, when the foot gets down, when the hips rotate. You do become analytical when you're practicing it. And then after you get all those repetitions in, when it's game time, get up there and swing hard. All right? You play with your heart, you practice with your head. So there is a time to think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. But then once it's game time, you gotta expect and hope that all that practice and all that work just comes into play. Okay? As far as home runs go,
Well, let's just say power hitting.
okay, no problem. I think there's about 3 major things that contribute to hitting a ball hard or hitting it far. All right. The first one is bat speed. All right. I think bat speed, some of us are born with it, some of us aren't. It's called fast twitch muscle fiber. You either have fast twitch muscle fiber or you have slow twitch muscle fiber. Fast twitch muscle fiber works faster and stronger, but for not as long. Those are the guys that can run fast, jump high, and throw hard. That is the tool, that's the God-given ability that you want. But not everybody is born with fast twitch muscle fiber. I am not a fast twitch muscle fiber guy. I'm a slow twitch muscle fiber. That means I'm better at endurance type sports, all right? And my strength comes over a period of time, all right? Not in a quick spur of the moment, all right? The last thing that comes into hitting it hard and power is technique. Good technique. All right, so between those 3 things, if you have 2 of those 3, you can probably hit it pretty good. All right, if you have all 3 of those things, you're a 5-tool. Mike Trout, one of the best players in the game right now, is a 5-tool player. He's a fast twitch guy with muscular strength and good technique. That's why he's one of the best. You understand that? So Halsey gets in there and he hits it because he's strong. All right, he generates bat speed by good technique. All right, and he just gets after it. If you watch me hit, all right, guy said it yesterday, I just took a few swings. I am a little more smooth. I look like I don't care. I look like I'm not trying, all right? My swing is just a little more smooth than the average bear. I don't get violent with mine, all right? So I rely on, I've got a little bit of mass now at 235 pounds. That has something to do with it. I'm not as strong as these 2 guys. My biceps are half the size of these guys, all right? I have long levers as well. My height helps me, all right? The longer the lever, the greater the velocity at the end of the lever, all right? Thus the aspect of getting to extension with your lead arm, your left arm. That makes your lever longer. It's also in gripping. When people overlap their grip, they're making their lever longer, all right? You ever go to a long drive competition? Those drivers that those guys use are longer than the driver you have in your bag because they're not about accuracy, they're about distance, all right? So a lot of the guys, Halsey, what kind of grip do you use? Do you overlap?
No, I don't overlap. I just line them up.
Yep. There's a lot of guys that'll overlap to make their bat longer. These are how long?
34.
Every bat is 34 inches long. All right, you can make it longer from the top of your from the top of your top hand to the end of the bat by overlapping. All right, that's somebody who just wants distance and bat speed. All right, they've increased the length of the lever. I'll just drop a pinky or 2 off the end of the bat, but I'm a traditional baseball grip as well because I want a little bit of control as well as power. All right, you with me on that? So if you'll watch my swing, and I'm just a little smoother, and then every once in a while I'll get after it. If it's time to hit it over somebody's head, all right, or time to hit it out of the ballpark, I concentrate on 2 things. The first thing I concentrate on is hitting somewhere below the center of the ball because I need backspin on the ball. We all agree with that, right? The ball that travels the farthest is a ball with backspin on it. It doesn't just happen. All right, you've got to hit slightly below the center of the ball and do what we call spin it. You got to spin the ball, okay? So understand that. The other thing that's really important is your path to the ball. There's three paths to the ball. You can swing down at it, you can swing level, or you can swing up through the ball, all right? My problem when I get in home run derbies is I start to swing up at the ball. And when I swing up at the ball and I miss timing wise, I'll hit that hump back. Because I'm going up through the ball, if I miss a little late, all right, I'll hit middle of the ball or slightly above the ball, and that thing's gonna create top spin. That's not what you want in a home run derby. Topspin is what we want when. In a game, hit the ball in the air with topspin, it's hard to catch. It's going to get over the infielder's head and drop somewhere in all that grass in the outfield. It's a nice thing. Topspin is hard to control. It's hard to control. And a lot of times it shows up when I don't want it. All right? So when I get in a situation where I'm trying to hit it out of the ballpark, I'll try to level my swing out a little bit, and I'll really concentrate on hitting below the center of the ball just to spin it. All right? My strength is also center field. All right? The science of the game tells me that the ball travels farther to center field than it does to left or right. Anybody understand, want to argue with me on that? Most of the home run derbies you see, guess where everybody's hitting it though? They're pulling it. They're pulling it to left field. All right? But the laws of rebound tell us different. If we make contact and our bat is at this angle, all right, the ball's going to go to left field, but it's going to come off with right to left spin. Or a golfer, it would be a hook. A hook. Okay? If I am square at contact, all right, my hands and barrel get to the ball at the same time, that ball's going to go straight back where it came from. That's going to either have, it's not going to have left to right or right to left spin. It's either going to have top spin or back spin. All right? That ball, I believe, goes farther. If we hit it to the opposite field, the hands lead the way, the barrel drags is a little behind at contact, that ball's going to go to right field and it's going to have left to right spin or golfers slice spin. All right? So think of a baseball field. Down the line, Fenway Park.
312.
312. Down the left field line. Right field line, pesky pole.
296
Yeah.
or something.
It's not very far at all. What's center field? 405, 410. All right, why? Why is center field deeper in baseball than it is than the left field line or right field line? Because the ball goes farther to center field because of the contact laws of rebound. All right, you with me on that? So if I'm on a 300-foot fence all the way around, I really try to go back through the middle because I know the science tells me the ball goes farther to center field. I have less of a chance of hooking it or slicing it and getting it to turn over. All right, now, last home run derby we were in, it was 300 out of line and 350 in center. All right, but it didn't stop me. I still hit a couple to center just because the pitch out over the plate, I'm not going to try to pull it. If I try to pull it, it's going to go somewhere different. All right, so those three things. You got to know whether you're a fast twitch guy or a slow twitch. How many fast twitch people do we have here? You have foot speed, arm speed, you can jump pretty high, okay? So know that you're gonna live on bat speed, all right? You're gonna get your success from bat speed. How many slow twitch people do we have? Be proud of it. That's right.
So
There's
you don't
more of
believe
us.
you don't believe that you can train any of the
Yes, yes.
train between fast and slow?
Yes, you can.
Can a slow twitch person still jump high?
You have to train for it.
I jump high, I really do, but I don't have any of those other characteristics.
You can, yes, you can train for it. You can, you know,
I jump really
get
high.
legs stronger and the whole nine yards. Proper technique, and yes, you'll be able. Nolan Ryan was a freak of nature. Nolan Ryan was a fast twitch guy that developed muscular strength as well. But some of us hit it with muscular strength, some of us hit it with bat speed, some of us just hit it with technique.
That's the thing I'm lacking.
Okay? If you can tie all three of those together, then you become one of the best in the game. All right? Any questions?
When the ball is coming down, you're trying to make contact. I mean, it seems like you're looking at it, but at the same time, if you're trying to hit where it was by the time you make contact,
Exactly.
it's lower than.
Exactly.
You adjust that in your thinking or something?
Well, the part of the thinking, you can't think and hit at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that I'm a firm believer that eye-hand coordination is another gift. All right? There's people that have good eye-hand coordination. All right? I haven't been beaten ping pong in a long time. All right? I can juggle. So I juggle to practice my eye-hand coordination. I play ping pong to work on my eye-hand coordination. There's things that we can do to improve our eye-hand coordination. And I think hitting off of a tee is a prime example. If you can't hit the ball off of a tee in the air on purpose, then you're not going to be able to do it out there when it's moving. So what I'll ask people to do in tee work is, I'll ask them to hit me, all right, fly ball to center field. And then from here, they've got to be able to be square at contact and hit slightly below the ball. If you can't do that on command, you'll never do it out there on purpose. All right? It's an amazing thing though. It's something you can't think about. Your eyes see the data. Your eyes look at the ball, all right, process where the ball is, and then to the brain, and then the brain tells the hands where to go. And if the hands aren't controlling the barrel, then you're done. So all these great things that we teach, that top hand controls where the barrel goes. You've got to get that down pat first. So what I tell people to do on the tee is, all right, now hit me a ground ball up the middle. And hopefully they can get to the top of the ball and hit a ground ball through the middle. And I tell them to work on it, do it until you can do it 8 out of 10 times. If you can do it 8 out of 10 times, you're good to go. We're human, we're gonna miss once or twice, but if you can do it 8 out of 10 times. So if there's a disconnect between your eyes and the barrel, you'll find it on the tee. You with me on that? If you can do it off of the tee, then you can graduate out there. All right, we face a lot of 5-man infield and 3-man in the outfield. So as a hitter, I want to do what? Picture that. I got 5 people plus the pitcher. There's 6 people protecting from third base to first base. That's 6 people protecting a small area of real estate. Now look out here. I got 3 guys protecting from that foul pole to that foul pole. I'm no rocket scientist, but guess what? I want to get the ball in the air, right? I want to hit it to the outfield because I got a better chance of getting on base if I do that because there's only 3 guys covering it. Yes, sir.
Would you talk about launch angle and also about separating the snap from the roll?
Sure.
Over.
Sure. Again, launch angle, I think more so, there's 2 ways of it. There's your swing plane to create your launch angle, and there's contact area. If I want to get the ball in the air, the first thing I have to do is hit it slightly below the center of the ball. Does everybody agree with that? If I hit it slightly below the center of the ball, I'm going to get backspin. The backspin's going to get it in the air. So that's the first thing that I have to do to get it in the air. Okay? The launch angle from there all comes from my swing plane. All right? It's maybe a slight, because we're swinging at a ball that's coming down, I think there is a slight, just a little bit. I like to try to swing level. I like to swing level, spin the ball, and create my own launch angle by spinning it. And hopefully you get it up in the air and it goes far enough. All right? When I really, really try to swing up and hit it out of the ballpark, unfortunately, sometimes that's when I turn it over and I get that hump back. So the more I try to create launch angle and lift, if I hit it right, sure, it's going to go right on the angle that I swung, and it's going to go out of the ballpark. But if I miss a little bit, all right, it's going to hump. And that's why when we free swing, when Halsey and Dilly played, back in the day when they played, you didn't have to care about how many home runs you hit. They were unlimited, right? And when the home runs are unlimited, you can free swing. And when you free swing and just get after it, we used to call it hump it or hurt it, all right? You swing hard. If you got backspin, it went out of the park. If you were a little late and hit the top of the ball, you created a hump and you still got on base. The swing becomes, the swing becomes different when you have to keep it in the ballpark and hit home runs when you really need them. That's when it really gets interesting. That's when it gets tough. And I struggled one time this year in Vegas. All right, I hit 10 2-run homers. Now the air is thin in Vegas, and I know that double plays kill you. So when there was a runner on first, a 5-man infield, I did exactly what they wanted me to do. I tried to throw it in the gap, and if I missed just a little bit, it hit into the net, and it became a 2-run homer. But I'm still thinking a 2-run homer there is better than a double play. A double play will kill an inning. Okay, you with me on that? But your teammates don't like you when you start doing that. Because, you know, you seem like you're being unselfish, and you should wait and hit that home run when there's 2 runners on. But that's the fun part about this game. You know, I hit for average, and I take pride in hitting for average because I think that's harder to do. I think the easiest thing to do is hit the ball out of the ballpark. Because when you do that, it doesn't matter where anybody's standing. Whether they got a shift on you, 5 men in the infield, it doesn't matter. You get it in the air and hit it over the fence, it don't matter. You with me on that?
Bob,
Okay.
we're gonna have to accelerate a little bit because
All
I
right.
guess the home run derby started.
Yes,
so,
sir.
so
All right, Dilly.
All right, I'll be
Billy,
quick.
you
Bill,
wanna,
thank
I'll
you
be
guys.
quick.
let's just have you guys hit.
So
Thanks,
this is pretty easy. Halsey's got one philosophy. It's grip and rip. Bob's very analytical. We call him the professor. I'm somewhere in between, is what it is. So I'll tell you a couple quick things. Jeff talked about a little bit. Dirk Androff, as a young player, I heard him. Some of you heard. I never did the thing where Halsey said get up on the plate because I don't have the quick twitch like he does. I stand off the plate. But the two things I always learn: my shoulders, my hips, and my hands, all together. Come through, snap it. So you want to get. That's one thing he told me is you get here, hands, hips, and shoulders, everything at the same time. Hit it out in front of you, and snap through it. Snap through. Swing through the ball. So using the tee, you see a lot of guys here, like when they're taking regular batting practice, are just swinging and just stopping. Get out and use the tee. Set up the tee where if you're going to pull it, get it out in front of you so when you swing, your contact point's out there. You get full extension and you drive it. And I'm not talking about hitting home runs for everybody. It doesn't happen, but just driving the ball hard. Something else, hitting off the tee. I was telling some guys earlier. When you set it up off the tee, set it up like that. See the sweet spot of the ball? That gives you something to hit for it every time. You're hitting the middle, you're driving it, you're driving, you're driving. Because if you just set the ball like that, just something else simple to do right there. So, but those guys, I'm fortunate I played with both those guys. They're two of the best. And they both kind of gave you a little bit something. So try to take something from each one of those. One other thing about approach, if that's the plate, it's pitch selection. So if that's the front of the plate right there, one thing I was telling some guys I do, I'll line up with the front of the plate here so I can protect the mat as it comes back. As each pitch comes in, it's kind of like a hand of blackjack. The odds change. So if a guy throws me a ball, I'm going to move up a little bit because the next pitch is probably going to be what we call a get me over fastball, where he might not try to throw it 10, 11 feet. He might throw it about 6, 7 feet and just try to drop it in there. So if you're there, get yourself in a position to hit. And the other thing is, if you got a 2-0 pitch and he just drops one in there, hammer it. Don't take it. Hammer it. So that's kind of my little tidbit because everything they talked about I did. Did you have anything else, Bogey?
Well, one thing you do is you want a straight line swing, but you get quite a bit of launch angle back to the body. Talk a little bit about that maybe on how it helps you elevate a little bit more.
Yeah, well, like they talk about on the tee, I can't emphasize how, like everybody talks, how important hitting off the tee is. And like Bob said, use it. So go out and say to yourself, okay, this round, I'm going to work on driving the ball in the air. Like Bob was saying, sit there, hit the bottom half of the ball so you get the spin. Next round, work on it, the middle half of the ball. Do things like that. But everybody's swing is different. Use the tee to create your own identity. And then that way you can figure out what works for you, what swing works for you. But the key thing is you got to hit it out in front of you because with softball, you got to generate it all yourself. So, does anybody got any questions? So we can break
Show them when you say out in front. Show them your point of contact.
Like if I'm pulling it,
yeah, that's basically the same contact point we're talking about right there. And it's just a difference in term as far as out in front. We say one more, a little bit more here. That's fine. That's exactly what. And I noticed that with Jeff when he swung, his point of contact was right there as well.
But when you get out there, you want to make sure your hands, your hips, and your shoulders, everything's snapping. Everything's together. It's like my buddy I hit with. He does like this, like your shoulder. And another thing, and Jeff talked about it. One final thing, I've seen so many people miss-hit balls because they don't keep their head down. And the ladies can't do this, but the guys can. What I do is when I finish my swing, I want to make sure my whiskers have rubbed raw here on my shirt. So when I'm swinging, when I finish, see how it's right here? Like all my jerseys have a rub mark right here where you're down. So that way it's keeping your head down. I even had a couple guys, you're going to laugh, the old fast pitch thing, I had them bite their jersey. Brad, you don't do that. Well, that's one thing I
No,
learned.
sorry, I don't teach.
but I had them bite their jersey because they were hitting off the tee and they kept pulling their head off. It's just a different way. You got to keep your head down. Like Jeff said, you got to watch the ball. So that's all I had. Mine was kind of in between there.
Yeah, if you guys, if you guys listen, he's big. I'm not big. I tend to kind of, I don't hit it as far as them, but I can still hit them out. and I'm in his page where I have to generate as much power out of this little body as I can. That means quick twitch muscles, quick hands, and the one thing that Dilly just stepped on, everything has to be together when you make contact.
Yep.
If your hands are first, your hand power. If your legs are first, you have no leg power because your legs already
If your
went
legs
through
are
the
out
ball.
first, you're like this. You stride, and then it's like a tennis backhand. You're locked in. You can't quit.
And like I said, I mean, I give hitting lessons to baseball and whatever, but it's generally the same thing. When you guys go to hit, if you're here, you have none of this. If you're here, you have none of this, and this is already gone. You have to time it together. And the big thing that I'm watching out here is a lot of you guys do this to finish. You can't finish flippy wrists. You got to finish strong. So when you hit, it has to be a big finish. I'm a quick twitch, fast hands guy, which sometimes bites me in the butt because I'm early a little bit sometimes, get on top of the ball. But if I were to say for the guys who don't have that power to hit it out of the park, work on your timing and getting your hands and your hips together at the same time. Like Jeff said, videotape yourself. See what's coming first and try to put it together. The thing I do is I have a punching bag, a big heavy bag, and I just go out in my backyard and I beat the living snot out of that thing. And I make sure that when I hit that bag, I'm like this at the same time when I'm hitting it. If I'm going like that, then I know my hips aren't coming through, and vice versa. If I do this, my hips are gone already. Get a heavy bag. I mean, heavy bags are great for the backyard. Strengthens up your wrist. It strengthens up your forearms. But everything they said accumulates to power, whether it's out of the park or through the infield really fast. I mean, get the body parts together at the same time. That's all I can say, because I'm not born with the big strength these guys are, so I have to take advantage of everything I've got. All right, so my big advice is everything has to be together at contact. All right, I'm easy. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, we ran late today. Halsey suggested it. We'll come back at the 1:30 session or the 1:15, whatever Ramsey has it set for, and these guys will put on a power hitting exhibition then. Does that sound cool, guys? Sure. And so you can all go to the home run derby and watch it now if you're going to get in it. Go into it. If we don't have a winner out of this group, it's going to be a big disappointment. Thanks.